Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to our session about the Office of Black Student Affairs, also known as OBSA at the Claremont Colleges. My name is Anna Marie Wood. I'm a Senior Assistant Director of Admission here at Scripps. If you've attended some other webinars, you probably have already been introduced to me already. I'm also a graduate from the class of 2013 at Scripps. Today, I'm joined with Lydia Middleton, Dean and Director of OBSA. The purpose of this session is for you to learn more about OBSA. On behalf of the Claremont Colleges, OBSA is dedicated to providing support, resources, and space for students of African descent to feel safe, valued, informed, and connected. So before I turn this over to you, Lydia, I want to highlight a few logistical things about how this session will work. This session will last approximately 25 to 30 minutes. Lydia will first present, and then we'll have time for questions and answers at the end. However, you can ask your questions at any point during the session, and you can do so by going to the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and you can type your questions in there. This box is not to be confused with the chat box, which Lydia and I will use if we want to share something with you all, like contact information or a website link at the end. So if you have a question, type it in the Q&A box. But even if you forget and you type it in the chat box, I'll find it, so don't worry about it. Lastly, we are recording this session, so if you need to leave or you want to rewatch it, we will post the recording on the Scripps on Your Screen virtual hub, which is where you found the registration for this event to begin with. So now I'll turn it over to our presenter, Dean and Director Lydia Middleton.
Hi, everybody. I am delighted to be able to speak with you today. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see my full presentation. It might take a minute or two. Well, what I can do, I'm going to enlarge this so that it doesn't show my desktop anymore. I can talk a little bit about our staff and who's in the office while I wait for my PowerPoint to respond. OBSA, we're kind of a small office that does a lot of big programming. We have myself, the dean and director, and I oversee all the operations, help with the staff hiring, make sure that we're reaching out to all of the campuses, and it's working now. All right, I'm gonna give this one more try.
Awesome.
So the mission of OBSA and what we do, this statement has been updated, especially in the last couple of years. We like to make sure that we think about each population of students as they come in and kind of make sure our mission is always evolving to capture the needs of our students. So we're really interested in investing in the success of students, and we provide a range of cultural, academic, social, and community engagement opportunities to that end. That sounds like a lot of higher ed speak, so we're really going to kind of break down what that means and take a look at some of the programs we offer. So we have some visual aids to help you get a picture of what you might expect from OBSA. So we've come up with this fun acronym, ACCESS. We focus on advocacy, so we do a lot of one-on-one support and initiatives that are student-led, that help students find their place here, and we're dedicated to students feeling included and empowered. We do a lot of collaborations and work with various communities. So you'll notice that, OBSA has partnerships with, for example, the Pomona College Museum of Art, the Scripps Presents program, Pittsburgh Dean of Students, just to name a few, Harvey Mudd, Office of Institutional Diversity, and we partner so that students can get a good cross-section of the community that they can see and participate in. We also do quite a bit of education-based activities. We kind of like to sneak that in there because we're a lot about social connections, but we also want to make sure that students learn and become connected to academic resources. So we like to make sure that students can take like kind of a mental break from all the rigorous coursework that they're doing. But there's also quite a bit of learning that can happen when we engage in our communities, especially among affinity groups. So some of the things that we do and that we'll talk about later is our academic conference that we put on every year, our programming around Dr. Martin Luther King, and an array of other workshops and activities that engage students in a variety of areas. And that leads to student success. So we do a lot of leadership and mentoring, learning and career development, and that looks different year to year. So some of our partners might pop up during the year where students are like, hey, I really want to bring this person, or put on a presentation myself for my peers, and we allow students to do that and provide them with a framework of support. So thinking about what we just talked about in terms of our mission, these are some of the concrete programs and activities that you can expect from us. The Black Alternative Break Program is a partnership with the Draper Center. I know a lot of you might hear of alternative spring break programs where you do a service trip instead of like your traditional spring break where you travel with your friends and hang out. But the Alternative Break Program is a fully funded, so meaning it's free for all students, and they participate in an array of community-based activities. Talks about gentrification and urban renewal. Students get to visit people of African descent that are in various positions in nonprofits. And then they also have a lot of time to reflect and like get to know and explore the city. So we've had this in Oakland previously, and this year it would have been in Los Angeles. But due to the shutdown, we are thinking about moving it to next year so that students won't miss on that experience. So I won't read all of these. As you can see, we engage our alumni. The conference I talked about a few minutes ago, we can talk a little bit about later. We provide a grant for students. So if you do have an idea and you want it funded, we can talk about the support that our office has to see your project through. We also partner with all 7 colleges to put on the annual Dr. Martin commemoration. I'll talk to you a little bit later about that one as well. That was one of my favorites this year. And for Black History Month, we put on a month-long series of programming that ends with our conference. And then finally, Black graduation happens in May, and that's the way that our office can celebrate graduates of African descent from all 7 colleges. So this is a lot of things, and we're a very small office, so there's only 3 full-time staff besides, in addition to myself. And we have 2 graduate students, and we're currently going to hire an undergraduate student very soon. Our graduate student that worked with us this year went abroad, so we were really excited for him, but really sad to lose him. So we'll be hiring very soon. So all the stuff I just talked about, here's kind of a visual about what that actually looks like over a span of a couple of years. So as you can see, like we have a set series of programs that we offer, but we're also trying to provide new and exciting things for students every year so that so that they don't feel like all of our programming looks the same from year to year. So for example, when Black Panther came out, we had a free screening where we rented out an entire movie theater so students in our community could watch it together. We put out a Black book. It's a resource guide. I don't know if some of you are familiar with the concept of the Green Book, but that was a resource for people during segregation to find out safe places for Black people to visit businesses. So we have something that is an homage to that we call the Black Book, and it's all of our Black faculty, staff, and cultural centers, as well as alumni-owned businesses and a few other places that we know are targeting students of African descent. So like hair care and other cultural events and places that you can go outside of the Claremont Colleges. We also put on a mentoring program, so there you can see a mentoring flyer there, and our Black graduation, and then some film screenings and a few other fun things. So that's really kind of some of the events. Again, this represents the past 2-3 years, so it's not everything, but I just wanted you to get like a good idea of what you could expect from OBSA. And next, I just wanted to highlight an event that we had this year. It was our joint open house. So every year, the cultural centers put on an open house event that lets you get to be in the space and get to know the of what's happening. I know. Yeah, well, OBSA had its 50th anniversary this year. We were founded in 1969 alongside Chicano Latino Student Affairs and both Intercollegiate Africana Studies and Chicano Latino Studies. So we wanted to highlight that by having a few joint events this year. And this was one of the biggest events that we held alongside CLSA. It was really successful and really fun, and it was a way for us to highlight the student activist past of both of our offices. So we had it in a big parking lot behind OBSA, which is also borders CLSA, and we had different types of food and vendors, and it was just a way for us to kick off a year of celebration with an array of programming. gonna try to make sure my slides don't shut off again. The next event that I kind of want to highlight, this was this year. This was our Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. event that kind of came about because I happened to see the Beyonce Mass at University of Redlands, and my former assistant dean sang in the choir. So we kind of got a view of this like spectacle and great event that centered Black women's experiences called the Beyonce Mass. So Beyonce was not there. None of her people were there, and it was not a service to worship Beyonce. So that might have disappointed some people, but we really, the idea behind bringing the Beyonce Mass was to highlight spiritual traditions that were espoused by Dr. King, and talk a little bit about how Black performative traditions are connected to activism and the fight for civil rights. So it was a live choir, a live band, and it was presided over by Reverend Norton, and she's been putting on the Beyonce Masses all over the country and a couple of places abroad. And it was just a really fun experience, and it got to really highlight how Black women have impacted and influenced a lot of movements globally. And it was a way for us to recognize the work of Dr. King while having this really awesome womanist performance and celebration. So what we're trying to do in the future is have our Dr. Martin Luther King commemoration be something that's really appealing to multiple communities. And it might not look exactly like a lecture or, you know, a faculty member getting up and talking about a book or something that they've accomplished. While there's nothing wrong with that, and we love that, we also want to show different ways of performing and different ways of learning. So I talked a little bit about who's in our office. So as of now, it's myself, Dr. Latrice Cox, who's our assistant dean. We are currently hiring our administrative and events coordinator. We hope that person will come on board once classes resume. We have 2 CGU students, so that's Claremont Graduate University, and they both take on large projects for the office. One, Cleopatra, works on our diversity, inclusion, and leadership. So that's really, the bulk of that is doing our alumni outreach. So she's really built our alumni network, where we have over 100 alums from the 7 colleges that are signed on, that are willing to do virtual mentoring. We actually have about 60 mentoring groups from alumni. She's also instrumental in doing our scholarship for the Black Intersections Conference. So we get submissions for people that want to present workshops, and she's responsible for helping organize them along with our faculty member. She also selects our Black graduation speaker, which is also always an alumni. And this year we are having a Pomona alumni who actually helped found the office for our Black graduation that we're going to hold virtually. So we'll make sure that we let all the colleges know that that can be viewed, and we'll have a link to it on our Facebook. Our other grad student runs our mentorship program. So this might be something of interest to you as first years. OBSA has a peer-to-peer mentoring program where students from all 5 undergraduate colleges are matched with mentors that are sophomores, juniors, and seniors. The mentors volunteer, but they're trained, and they've been screened, and we try to make the best matches, not just, you know, throwing people together who are from the same school, but we look closely at the applications to make sure that people's interests, their identities, where they're from, all those things are considered. And when you apply, and if you apply, you get to tell us if there are any special considerations you'd like us to make. So for example, if you're first generation, if you're third generation, if you are an engineer who likes riding bikes, if you're a skateboarder who also likes to build, we try to put people together based on the things that they tell us are important to them and important parts of their identities. And our open position, our undergraduate student would be working a lot this year. Had the semester not ended so abruptly to do some leadership development with our Black student unions. So there's 7 BSUs, and they all have, you know, various missions and leadership structures, and we do a lot of work to try to embrace them, let them know that we're supporting them, and are trying to build like a good network of student leaders that we can reach out to. And I thought this was the last slide. I wasn't sure. I was like, how much time do I have left? Because I can keep talking forever. I'd like to open it up for questions, but before I do, I wanted to show you some of these photos from the very first Black Alternative Break program. So again, been around very long. I've been in OBSA since 2015, and that was the year that we initiated this partnership mutually with the Draper Center. And we're really excited because this was the first of its kind at the colleges, and it was open to all students that are 5C. So even though Draper is housed at Pomona, it's a 5C program. So we really would like to see more representation among the colleges for students that attend, because it's kind of a really groundbreaking and life-changing event for a lot of folks. Because it's not just, oh, we go and you know, clean empty lots and, you know, talk to people that are, you know, living in these communities. It's a strong partnership, and it's a way for students to do, to get a perspective on what community service looks like as a person of African descent going into majority people of African descent, majority neighborhoods that are majority people of African descent. So that's OBSA. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. I can stop sharing my screen and having.
Thank you so much, Lydia.
You are so welcome. Did that work?
That is perfect. Yes, we're back, just us now.
Okay.
That was an amazing PowerPoint. There's so many great images and things to have in there.
Thanks. We're really excited. I mean, even though, you know, some of our events got cut short this year, we're really hopeful for what 2020 in the fall will bring us, and are going to continue to connect with students virtually up until that point.
Likewise, yeah. There's Lydia, I don't know if you see there's a little at the bottom the red flag which indicates questions.
Yeah.
Just so you know, you can type in your questions into the Q&A box, and I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning, but only Lydia and I see the questions.
Yes. So this question is about diversity across the Claremont Colleges, and specifically women of color and cultural diversity at Scripps College. So I can tell you that the numbers are not high, but they are kind of similar to most institutions that are private and small that you would see across the country. I don't know our exact numbers for the incoming classes, but because there's 7 colleges, sometimes we look at the data of incoming students, you know, individually, but collectively, there are around, I would say, 300 to 400 students of African descent. And sometimes that's tricky because not all students of African descent identify as having African descent, or the colleges don't always count international students. So yes, we get a list of students that, you know, the colleges tell us are Black, and we reach out to them, but then we meet students that were like, I never, you know, got anything from you. And we were like, you must not have been on our list. It probably isn't your fault, but there's such a limited way to self-identify that, you know, some of the outreach that we have to do is word of mouth, person to person, and going through peers. So in terms of women of color and cultural diversity at Scripps, there's an office called SCORE. You've probably heard of it, and they probably already done a presentation on your behalf. But SCORE is a great place to connect to women of color from different communities, women who are queer, and women who are, you know, still learning about who they are and trying to find their space at Scripps. We do a lot of work with SCORE. We consider them one of our close colleagues. So it's challenging to be in a place like this where you're one of few, and we're aware of that as administrators, and try to create spaces for students to be themselves and to feel safe and to feel valued. I hope that answers your question, but if not, please feel free to pop another one in there. There's another question. Can you talk about the placement of Black alumni after graduating from the Claremont Colleges, and how involved are they in bringing back their talent and resources to Scripps? Well, I don't know a lot about job placement specifically. I do know that from a lot of casual conversations that I have with Scripps women, and that there are opportunities that Scripps students, a lot of them that I've talked to, are pursuing graduate studies. So I'm not sure about specific numbers around job placement. I think that the Career Center might be a place that can tell you that information. But as far as what I'm aware of, and I talked to some students that are like writing their thesis, applying to jobs, and applying to graduate programs. I feel like a lot of Scripps students are interested in pursuing postgraduate studies. So I feel like that's a path that a lot of folks are on once they finish here. And in terms of bringing back talent and resources back to Scripps, we've tried to make a big effort to connect to all of our alumni. As far as Scripps specifically, we do have a few mentors that are involved as alumni, and this is a virtual program. So while they might not be physically here to like actively be involved in the community, we still count our virtual mentoring program as something that's impactful and a good resource for students. We'd like to do more in terms of getting our Scripps alums back. I know that the Scripps Presents program has done a lot to bring alums to campus, and we partner with them pretty regularly, and they've been bringing a lot of Black women writers and poets to campus that we've been super excited about. So we've been highlighting that quite a bit. So hopefully that answers your question. Those are the only two that are here that I see. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to type.
I think we probably have time for one more. So if there's anything else, Lydia, you want to share, or I have a question for you too, if you want.
Sure. I don't think I actually said or put on the PowerPoint how to reach us or like where to find information. We have a Facebook page. So we had a page that was like a person page, and then someone made more of like a, not a page, but where the office is not a person and it's an actual like entity. We are still dealing with the person page because that's where all of our followers are. So I was like, we're just gonna keep this going. So it's capital O, small letters, BSA, space, Claremont. And that is our kind of social media hub for, all of the information that we put out about our programming, upcoming recruitment. We're going to be putting our mentorship ads up there, and our website is really easy to find. If you go on the Claremont Colleges Services webpage, you'll find us. And that's another way to connect to find the link to our mentorship program. But once you locate us on social media or the website, both, information about both are available, and you get a good picture of like what we're offering and what our upcoming deadlines are. I think I see.
I just included the link to the website.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And I was looking for the Facebook as you were talking about it, but I see two OBSA Claremont, so I wasn't sure on Facebook.
One says OBSA CUC. It's not that one.
Oh,
it's just
okay.
Plain OBSA Claremont, and OBSA is spelled as though it's.
Yeah. Is it the one with the fist in the air or the one with the picture of the building?
It's the fist.
Okay, I will send that along.
Okay, that was our logo this year for our 50th. We had a Pomona student design that for us.
All right. And then Lydia, my question for you is just, you might have already answered this in the presentation, but what's been your favorite event or experience working for OBSA?
I think my favorite event is our annual conference. And the reason that that's become my favorite, it's one of those things that's kind of a pain to plan because of it's the logistics of it, but seeing students present their own work and really teaching each other and being proud of the work that they've done that they might not get the recognition for in their classes is one of the most rewarding experiences that I've had. We have put the conference on for 4 years as of this year, and it's just one of those things that it just became a really good outlet for students to talk about what they're interested in terms of their scholarship I'm really excited about that.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I know we're at time, so we should stop now. But students, you have the links there to reach out and learn more about OBSA. And Lydia, thank you so much. I learned so much in this session too.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to hopefully seeing many of you here on campus. And yeah, I'll be in touch.
Awesome. All right. Bye.
Bye.